So would anyone like to take a wild guess at what I just saw? Who knows? I mean, it's a mystery. The Wolverine is a movie that follows Hugh Jackman, and he reprises his role as the Wolverine. And this movie is set after X-Men 3: The Last Stand, so that's something you need to know going in. And it follows him. He gets invited to Japan by this guy who he saved back in World War II, and this guy wants to make him mortal because he thinks that Logan just wants to die, and he kind of does. And that's essentially what the movie follows. You don't really need to know anything else going in. And going into this movie, I was kind of excited because I really love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's just, I know that he isn't really like the comic counterpart in terms of like height and the way he looks, but you know, he just made these movies. Ever since the first X-Men, he has been one of the best cast characters in a superhero movie, in my opinion. And the trailers for this one look surprisingly good, and it's directed by the guy, James Mangold, who made 3:10 to Yuma, which is one of my favorite westerns of all time. So I had some excitement going into this. I will say, I did enjoy this movie a lot. I liked it. There are definitely some problems in there. It's not a perfect movie, but I did have a lot of fun with it. Because once again, Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine, he is just perfect. He really makes these movies. He's great in this movie. You really get to see a more tortured side of Wolverine, because there are certain scenes in this movie where Jean Grey comes in and it's kind of like hallucinations. You see one in the trailer, and those are really great scenes, especially like seeing how he reacts to certain things. And he's a lot more pissed off in these movies than he has been in the other movies. Like, he's just really he's very upset at most things in this movie, and he just goes berserk on some people, and it's really cool to watch. All the other acting in the movie, there's a ton of people of Asian descent in this movie whose names I would never be able to pronounce, but I thought all of them were good in this movie. I really enjoyed all of the acting in this movie, except for one person. There's this villain, one of the villains in this movie, and she's called the Viper. I couldn't pronounce her name either. I'm terrible. The actress's name is Svetlana something. I just felt her character was a little bit basic. She's kind of there. Oh, she's evil. Why? Because she's evil, and that's really all I got to know about her character. And once again, this movie is directed by James Mangold, and I thought he did a really good job with this movie. There were some really cool shots. There's one where Wolverine, I don't want to say anything, but there's a really cool shot during a fight Wolverine has with this guy who has a sword, and he does things, and I'm gonna keep saying things. I don't feel like he utilized the setting he had to its fullest potential, because they're in Japan. They could get some really cool and vibrant shots of certain parts of the city. They didn't really do that. They just kind of kept it straightforward, which was a little bit disappointing, but I thought overall the cinematography was really well done. And the fight scenes in this movie, there are some quick cuts here and there, but I thought they were overall well done. There's a lot of sword fighting in this movie, and seeing Wolverine like fight with his claws against these swords, I thought was really fun to watch. And there's also this fantastic chase scene in the middle of the movie. It's not really lengthy, but it's a good portion of time, and it lasts the right amount of time, in my opinion, and it's just really cool. It's really intense. There's a part of it on a train that I thought didn't look that great in the trailers, but in the movie itself, it's really great. One of my main problems with this movie was the fact that even from the trailers, I was able to predict what mostly was going on in this movie, and that's just disappointing when I can predict so much of what's going on. Like, oh, that guy's gonna be here, and she's that. Oh, well, that's what I thought. There's also a chunk in the middle of the movie where there's no action. It's just really slow. And a movie like Pacific Rim had that as well, but I felt Pacific Rim did it in a way where they kept it interesting. This movie, it just kind of dragged along near the middle and what was going on, and there was this kind of shoehorned in there love story. So that was a little bit annoying as well. Boom! I also saw the movie in 3D, and I feel like the 3D was completely unnecessary for this movie. It didn't do anything to really bring the screen closer or make it feel like it was closer at all. It didn't do anything to help you immerse you into the environment. It's not useful. Go see this movie in 2D. You don't need 3D. The Wolverine overall, I had a lot of fun with it. There's some great action in there. Hugh Jackman still is fantastic as Wolverine. I was disappointed that I was able to predict so much of the movie, and the middle portion drags a bit, but I think that if you're an X-Men fan, that you will enjoy this movie, because I went to this movie with a die-hard X-Men fan, essentially. Kind of is. I don't know. I don't know much about him. He's just a guy I met on a train. He reads a lot of X-Men comics, and he loved the movie, so that's that's the way I can tell comic fans to go see it, that I have reference. I'm gonna give the Wolverine an A-. Definitely go check it out when it comes out this Friday. I think it's worth your time, and it's one of the better movies to come out this summer, and I'm happy about that. So what'd you guys think of the Wolverine if you have seen it, or what are you looking forward to in the Wolverine, or what are you not looking forward to? Do you like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? Do you like Hugh Jackman at all? I should stop talking. Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think, and if you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there, because if you don't, I'll try and grow claws out of my hands, and I'll probably just stab myself and hit a vein and die. So, once again, no one has anything to worry about here.